Hello, everyone, and welcome to Table Crashers. My name is Chris, aka Tiny Rhino, and I'm here with Keith Matejka. Keith, say hello.
Hello, hello.
All right, so Keith's gonna talk to us about his game today, Role Player, but I wanted to go through our typical spiel here. So Geek Spiel, haha, it's funny. Geek Spiel is a PG-13 stream where, again, the whole goal for us is to include all gamers, to have folks talking about playing and enjoying games. Yeah, as long as fortunately, we're not playing with physical materials, so no one's ruining my game. I don't have to be mad at you. But yeah, we're just here to play some games. A couple of things we want to talk about specific to Table Crashers is that the chat is open. We stream on Twitch for a reason, so feel free to jump in with your own questions, your own comments. We like when chat is lively because it keeps everything interesting. We'll do a quick interview with Keith here in a minute and then just jump into a table. Again, feel free at any time if you want to join the Discord and, again, have access to these random meetup games or being able to join us in the show. We're available for that. So, Keith, I'm going to pull you back up here. Perfect. So, Keith, tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you get started into board games?
Sure. Yeah. So, board games started for me when I was young. Like a lot of people, like when I was super young, I had some gaming was a thing in our family. We played a lot of games, and then I remember distinctly having a babysitter who used to bring games over all the time, and some of those old games actually are still in print, and I remember them fondly. I have some of my old copies of games like Survive or Scotland Yard and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, those are still great games, but and then I kind of got away from board gaming a little bit, and then I played a lot of RPGs in college. So I played a lot of Vampire the Masquerade and Dungeons and Dragons, of course, and Rifts and whatever. We used to play like probably three nights a week. Me and my buddies in college, and then whatever. I decided I needed to become an adult and got out of school, and gaming kind of became a less of a priority. Got big into video games, which then I started a career in video games, and then at some point, I moved back to my home state of Wisconsin, and I was looking for kind of opportunities to meet new people, and I got together with my old buddies to play D&D again, and I was like, this is still fun, but man, these like 12-hour sessions I just can't handle anymore. So I was like,
again, it's that adult life, right?
Yeah, it got real. So I was looking for kind of a similar experience that like I could get done in 2 or 3 hours. So then I started learning about Descent and some of the other kind of dungeon crawly experiences, and I started playing those. And then I met some local gamers and jumped in some random groups and met some gamers and started playing new stuff. And it was really exciting because there was all these new games that I had never been exposed to. So
right.
That was definitely cool. And then I still play with that group, and it's still very very active group, and I play with those guys. They do a lot of playtesting for me now, which is awesome.
Yeah. They've been recruited, right?
Exactly. And then I also had at the same time, it's kind of a trifecta of things. It's like moving to a new town, wanting to play a role-playing game experience without wanting to do it for 12 hours, and then I have a friend who's from Puerto Rico, and he's like, hey, I heard this is a great game called Puerto Rico. I want to play it. And it's like, okay. So we just walked down to the game store and picked it up and spent a weekend like playing it over and over again. So that was kind of my introduction into Eurogaming.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of those three things got me kind of addicted, and I met a lot of new people in the town I was in, and definitely playing board games with my friends, at least once a week was kind of became my highlight. And I listened to tons of podcasts, like when Tom Vassell was over in Asia. I was listening to all that stuff. So I the addiction was fully set in at that point, right? So
okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it turned less into the hobby and more of the thing that made it through the week at some point. It sounds
for sure.
So you said a little bit about that you're working on some. You moved to being a programmer for a company that makes shooter games. So what are some of the projects you've been working on?
So I work. My day job is at Raven Software. So actually, there I'm I'm a producer, which is kind of like a project manager.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of like schedules and just kind of making sure stuff doesn't fall through the cracks and communicating with the team and all that kind of stuff. But you know, I've worked in video games for quite a while. I worked at a company called Konami in California for 7 years, working on games like Silent Hill and Metal Gear and Contra and Frogger and Dance Dance Revolution, and then I now work at Raven, which is the developer, and which has been around for 25 years. Has a real strong history. You know, old games like Hexen and Heretic and Jedi Knight Academy. But when I got there, we were working on Wolverine and Quake 4 and Singularity, and then kind of I've been working on Call of Duty games since then. Kind of every Call of Duty I've worked on has been like Black Ops 2 to present. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, for our video game board game crossover folks, you definitely know some of those titles. So
yeah, for sure.
So we're gonna actually play your game tonight. We're playing Role Player, and again, I love this game. I love the concept of this game. Just this idea of, you know, I'm a board gamer, but I'm also a tabletop RPGer, and it just feels like, I mean, I love going through the adventures. I love role playing, but I think one of the favorite things for me is creating a character. And so, what was the inspiration for this game for you?
So that's, you know, I get that comment pretty frequently. It's fun. There's a lot of people that are like, I love, you know, you took the best part of role playing and made it into an entire game. I was like, that's awesome. And every once in a while you get the guy who's like, why'd you make the lamest part of role playing into a game? Like, well, you should play it anyway and see if you like it.
Right. Give it a chance.
Yeah. So the inspiration, there's a group of conventions that happen across the U.S. called Protospiel. If you've ever heard of them, there's, I think the one in Milwaukee actually is this weekend, but there's another one here in Wisconsin in Madison every year, and there's one in San Jose and Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Minneapolis, etc. But basically, those conventions are just like designers getting together and playing each other's games and ripping each other's games apart and giving feedback, and it's like a super cathartic process and really a good time. And I was just playing my buddy's game, James Ryan. He had I think the Game Crafter had a challenge up. Sometimes the Game Crafter or some other companies have these kind of game design challenges, and it's like real restricted components. And there was one going on called like 16 card RPG, and he had designed the 16 card RPG, and we tried it out. I played a bunch of his prototypes, but that particular game, he had the system where everybody took one of these two cards, and one card you had to pick from like two positive traits and then two negative traits, and you put them together, and that was your character. And then which took like 3 seconds to build your character, and then you play this kind of real simplistic RPG. And I was like, man, I don't really like the game, but this character creation part's cool. Like, what if the whole game was that? And then the gears started going, So it's pretty common that, like, you going to these kind of conventions, not only are you kind of play testing your own stuff, and you're also playing a lot of other people's stuff. Sometimes like inspiration can come. So then I was off to the races. It's like, well, if you're making characters, it has to have dice, and it's like, well, of course there has to be attributes and stuff. And so I started looking through all my old role-playing game books and like writing down all the different things. Like, you need a class, and you need a race, and you need this and this. And then it just became like, how do you fit these things into a game? So I was like super excited about the idea, right? It was like, oh my gosh, this is like lightning in a bottle. I have to like put all my effort into this like right now, because it felt like an idea that is like, why hasn't anybody done this before kind of idea, which it scares the crap out of me, because it's like, that means probably somebody is working on this idea, So so I was playtesting the game like 3 to 4 times a day with different groups for like months straight, and making changes every day. Like, it was like my singular focus. And then when obviously when I got it in a good spot and got art started on it, and was eventually able to get it up on Kickstarter, and I'm glad I did push hard on it, because like there's another game that you may have heard of that has some similarities to it called Sagrada that kind of went on Kickstarter like right after Role Player was done. I was like, well, I'm glad I got out there first. So that's
Right.
cool.
Yeah, I mean it feels similar in some ways, but it also, I mean, it again, it has a totally different theme, and I think that that's what drew me to it. I mean, I
Oh, for
love
sure.
Sagrada too, but it's definitely a different game, I guess, thematically for that. So,
Oh, for sure.
what was your favorite part about creating the game? And then what was one of the biggest challenges for you?
Um, I guess the funnest part was just um, like oftentimes you start playtesting stuff and you get kind of like it's okay or it's not great or like people find significant problems with it or they feel they do. And like this one, like from the beginning, everyone that play tested or tried out or even heard about it was like, oh my god, I love this game, I want to play it again, you know. So that's been super encouraging. um, and my favorite part of just when I sit down to play it with people, and maybe we'll find that tonight, is that at the beginning of the game you get your class and your backstory and your race, and like there's this moment of like 5 minutes where everybody gets their stuff, and then they start kind of piecing all the pieces together in their head, and they start like kind of describing what their character is like and stuff, and there's so all the pieces are randomized, so there's like an infinite number of possibilities of
Right.
things, and it's fun when things like don't really match up that well, and then they have to kind of create a story about, you know, how do we connect
Right.
the dots between these things. But in terms of like the hardest part, so I was pretty happy with the game for a while, and it was a simpler game, and I kind of the realities of production arrived at my doorstep. You know, I started getting quotes as to how much it was going to cost to manufacture, and like figuring out what the cost, you know, the MSRP of the cost was going to have to be, and um, just the sheer number of dice in the box dictated that the price was going to have to be fairly high. And I made this not realization, but I remember that like people don't want to pay 60, $80 for a light game. Like no matter how much fun it is, like there's a certain price point associated with like length of game and like complexity of game. So I knew that had to be, if I was going to support 4 players, which I felt like was the minimum, I had to have 73 dice in the box, and I didn't want to make any compromises on that side. So I knew I had to kind of make the game a little bit more complex. So then I did like a second wave of development. So things like how the market cards work, how those initiative cards work, and there's dice on them, and that dictates when you can buy cards and stuff. Like that all kind of came on the second wave of development, because it's like I made a concentrated effort to make the decisions more complex. So kind of the alignment used to be kind of a 2D, like an up and down kind of scale, and then it turned into
Right.
a 9-space grid. The backstory became more important, and like the market became much more kind of complicated. So so that was kind of like the hard part, is like figuring out, okay, I'm at a good spot and it's a simpler game, but I need to get to a more complex game. How do I get there? And there was like two or three really kind of strong candidates that I was testing with, and I mean, I'm definitely happy with what I ended up going with, but trying to figure out which of those multiple paths to get there was going to be the best was a
Right.
challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like you've had the opportunity. You all were just on Kickstarter not too long ago, coming up with the expansion, and so you had a little bit of opportunity. It sounds like also to add some complexity there. So it sounds like you all are. I mean, again, I love the game. It's definitely enjoyable for me. So not that matters in all the world, but
it matters, sure. But yeah, the expansion was on Kickstarter last summer and is just delivering to backers now. And so the base game was kind of the game that I wanted to make, and then the expansion kind of like adds all the stuff that like fans of the game really want. But I wanted to take the time to kind of do all the stuff that other people wanted in the way that I wanted to get them done. So the expansion is definitely, it integrates kind of from the beginning. I don't really like expansions that are kind of like, hey, that are modular. You can mix and match whatever you want, and they get tagged on or whatever. I like things that kind of fold seamlessly into the core game, and that's kind of what I ended up doing. So the expansion is a heavy one. I mean, there's a lot of content in the box, and it's cool, man. I mean, obviously, expansions usually come from things that were cut from the original game and get developed more. But there's a lot of new ideas there too.
Okay.
So there you go.
Speaking of the game, we're not playing the expansion, but we are playing Role Player tonight. So let's hop in on the table here, and let's make sure everyone's ready to go. I'm gonna do a quick bit of introduction. So again, on the cross of the table, we've got Digital Carnage. Chris, hello.
How's it going? Good to see you guys again.
Good. I mean, I've technically been seeing you for, but you know.
Well, yeah.
And then Anissa was joined us last week for Century Spice Road, and is back for round 2. Anissa, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well.
Good. Well, we're glad to have everyone here. Keith, why don't you take us a little bit through the rules of the game, and then how do we play?
Sure. Yeah. So Role Player is a game about building fantasy characters like D&D or some other Pathfinder or something. So you're going to have you have a character sheet in front of you, and then you'll start out with some dice on your board, and every round you'll get an opportunity. You'll draft a die to place on your board, and then you'll get an opportunity to buy a card. And kind of over the course of the game, you'll kind of fill up all 18 spaces for dice, and you'll accumulate additional cards. And then once everybody kind of takes the last turn, everybody puts the last die on their board. Then there's 6 areas that give you points, and we'll basically add those up to see who made the coolest character. So those 6 areas are listed on the bottom right-hand corner of the player board in front of you. The first one says attribute goals. So if you'll get a class card. Where are they? Here they are. You'll get a class card. Kind of randomly dealt to you. There's 12 different classes, and each so there's 6 different categories, for each of the 6 attributes, and they have a number range next to them, and then a number of stars. So the stars are points in this game. You're trying to get your 3 dice in each one of your rows to be within those ranges on the class card, and then if you accomplish that for each attribute, then you'll get the star. So there's 12 points you can get from each one. If it says like a specific number, like I'm looking at the wizard one, which has an intelligence of 7, that means you have to get exactly 17. And you're gonna add the 3 dice on your board, and then there's a racial bonus or a racial penalty on most of the boards, all of them except for the human. And you'll have to include that when you're calculating those numbers as well. And then the second one says class color dice. So you'll get a class like this blue one in front of us. So whoever has the blue card will be the blue class. All the blue dice on their board will be worth a point, versus the person with the red class will be looking for red dice for points. And then the third thing is the alignment card. So that's these small ones right here. So this top one says eccentric. So you'll get a cube that'll go in the center space, and then the cube is going to move around over the course of the game. And whatever it's kind of sitting on at the very end, you'll either get those points or lose those points depending on what space it's on. And then the fourth thing is your backstory card. So the backstory cards look like this. The brawler here. So you'll have this card. You'll get, they're dealt out randomly, and this is kind of deciding where you want to put certain colored dice. So whenever you load dice onto your board, you're always kind of loading from the left to the right. And then you're trying to get the dice to match the colors of this chart on your character sheet. So like in this example, you're looking for a green die in the second slot of strength, versus in the third slot of dexterity, you're looking for a red die. And the more that you match, the more points you'll get. And the scale's on that card. So if you match 2 to 3, you'll get 1 point. 4 to 5 of them, you'll get 3. And if you match all 6, you'll get 6. And then the last 2 are things that give you points, are coming out of the market deck, which is this is one half of it, and I don't know, the other one's over here, I think. Yeah. So these are 2 examples. We'll shuffle these up, and then one of these stacks will go on top of the other one. There's a little like dots underneath the number in the upper right hand corner. The single dot ones go on top of the set of double dot ones. So anyway, there's 2 different card types in here that give you points. This one is an example of the first one. This is an armor card. Armor cards are set collection. So there's 3 different sets: Mystic, Leather, and Chain, and they all have different kind of point scales. But for this particular example, if you have like 2 of the Mystic pieces at the end of the game, then you'll get 3 points for the set. And then if you happen to be the blue or the green class, you'll get a bonus point for the whole thing. And then the last thing are trait cards. So trait cards, they give you points. Where's one? This is a bad example. Trait cards have endgame victory point conditions. There's another bad one. Here's a good one. So Obsessed is a good example. So this one gives you 1 point at the end of the game for every 2 dice in your class color. So if I'm the blue class and I've got 6 blue dice, I'll get an additional 3 points if I have this card. One thing that's unique about these trait cards is that when you buy them, see it by the price, it has a little down arrow. So when you buy one of these cards, that pushes the alignment marker on your alignment card down. So if you're obsessed, then you become more evil, if possible. So if it's already all the way down, then you can't move it anymore, and that's fine. You can still buy the card. But this is one of the 2 card types that are going to push your alignment marker around. And the other one, so those are the 6 ways to score. And kind of a winning score is usually in the high 20s, I would say. And then there's 2 other types of cards in the deck. A skill card, like this open lock card. You buy these cards, and then throughout the game, you can activate them multiple times. Every time you tap them, when you want to use them, you exhaust them or whatever. And then you move your marker on your alignment card in the direction of the arrow on the skill card, and then you just do what it says. And then you can use as many skill cards as you want during a game, during a turn, and then you can refresh one of them at the end of the round. So the only other type of card I didn't talk about are weapon cards. This tower shield is technically a weapon, but it's not the greatest example. Most of them are actually in the front half of the deck.
The single half.
But anyway, weapon cards, they have a hand value on them. And you can't have more than 2 hands worth of stuff. So if you ever need your hands are full and you want to buy a weapon card, you just have to discard something. So anyway, those are kind of what the pieces are. In terms of how the game plays, it's very kind of focused around these dice. So there's this bag of dice. Like I said, you're going to start out with some on your board. And then the first phase of the game is called I should know this. It's called the roll phase. So what the start player takes, in this instance, they're going to take out 5 dice and roll them. So it's always number of players plus 1. And then they get laid out on the initiative cards in the middle of the table from lowest to highest. So the number 1 card will have the lowest value die, and the number 5 one will have the highest value die. And then you kind of go around the table starting with the person that rolled, and they select one. So if you select a die, and then you place it on your board in the leftmost space of any row. And each row has a series of actions. Each row has an action that you can take. So if you take your die and you put it in strength, there's a little icon there that says you can take any die on your board and flip it to its opposite side. And if you put a die in dexterity, you can swap the placement of any 2 dice. If you put a die in constitution, you can increase a die by 1 or decrease a die by 1. If you put a die in intelligence, you can re-roll any die and either take the re-rolled value or go back to the value it was before you rolled it. If you put a die in wisdom, you can move your alignment marker on your alignment card 1 space, left, right, up, or down. And if you put a die in charisma, then you get a charisma token, which will give you a $1 discount in the market this round only. So anyway, you're going around the table. Everybody's selecting a die, putting it down, taking the action. And kind of once you've selected a die, the next person can go ahead and select theirs because these actions they don't interact in any way. So once everybody's taken a die, then you move to the market phase. And then you're buying cards from the market. There'll be 5 out at the beginning of each round. And the order in which you purchase is dictated by which die you took in the previous phase. So if you took the lowest value die, then you're going to buy first. And if you took the highest value die, you're going to buy last. And then if you bought a trade card, then you move your alignment marker if possible. If you took a skill card, you can activate it in most cases. And then you clean up, which means any dice that are left over go back to the bag. The remaining card goes back to the deck and or to the discard pile. New cards come out. The bag passes. You discard any unused charisma tokens, and you kind of just do that another. In a 4-player game, you're going to do that another 9 times, and then you score like we talked about before.
Okay, so now you had that's a lot of rules, but those are all great. Thank you for that, Keith. And so one of the things I want to talk about is we each have different character choices as well, right? So it looks like a couple of us have already selected what we're looking to have for the game. Let's go ahead and just, Keith, unless you have something else you want to say or the group has any questions, let's start it up and we'll pass out all the alignment cards. We'll script it here real quick and go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay. So does everyone have their class selected they want to pick?
Or their race, I think.
Or race, excuse me, yes. Make sure you have that because once once I press this button, there's no change.
No, it's not going to work right now.
Why?
Because the cards were moved. And so
do we have to restart the table real quick?
we have to reload the table, and our producer's going to yell.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so make sure you all pick your race that you would like to use for the...
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm good.
I am ready.
I am not fully loaded in yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, you're okay. Just want to make sure we weren't moving on without you.
Somebody say something.
Dun, 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 dun. Keith.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anissa, are you ready?
No, I think I might have to leave and come back.
I have you as dwarf right now.
Yeah, no, I just can't see anyone's player boards, including my own.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and step away real quick, Anissa, and we'll have you load back in. I'm looking at chat here. We don't have a whole lot of questions, so again, feel free to say some things in chat for us, and we'll respond. We've been talking. Looks like chat's talked a little bit about Fireball Island, and specifically back to Keith's interview about some of the games where the price doesn't quite meet the value, but the opposite. Sometimes it feels like you're paying a whole bunch, and while you're getting a lot, you're still paying a whole bunch. It goes back to that kind of hobby mentality I think we often talk about with board games.
Yeah.
I mean, I just dropped like $80-some on a game the other day, and I'm like, do I really need it to be this like complex? And it's like, it seems like it's a relatively simple game, but it's still like $80 for what I just paid for it.
Right. Keith, did you have a typical character when you played your tabletop RPGs?
Definitely, I played a lot of vampire. So I used to play whatever it was. I always played like the crazy character that would just irritate the GM and try to do crazy stuff that they'd have to think on their feet to try to solve. But
so you were the complicated one. You're the one all the GMs hate to play.
Right. Yeah, I was that guy for sure.
Okay.
So how do you...
looks like... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I figured it out. So everybody should start out with eight dice, right?
Yes, it looks like.
Yep.
I think that's where we're at.
But I think usually it's a good idea to get the classes and stuff in place.
They are all in place.
Oh, look at that.
They're all there. So yeah, I was gonna say, let's go around the board real quick and talk about who's got what with respect to class and so on. So I can go ahead and starting with Keith.
Oh, great.
I lied. Keith, go ahead and kind of explain what you got going.
Sure, I've got an orcish paladin who is a scoundrel and is also the chosen one. So he has a sacred mark. According to the prophecies, I'm destined to have great power. So that must be true. So my special ability for my class is that if my alignment marker is on the 3 at the beginning of each round, then I get a gold. That's kind of like an additional income. And that's pretty much it, I guess.
Okay. And let's go next to Chris. Chris, what do you got for us?
So I am a barbarian dragonkin that is also a patrician. I come from a distinguished family. Material things have never been my concern. Life in my stronghold bores me, so I have decided to seek adventure. But my ability is apparently I'm powerful, and I may equip up to 4 hand of weapon cards. I guess.
Right.
Is that what
So by default you can do 2, so you can hold 2 more hands worth of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And Anissa, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you've got going?
All right, so I am a savage dwarven monk who's also kind of got guardian characteristics. I was raised by wolves, and then I guess I just walked into a monastery. So, and my special ability is my favorite special ability, Lucky Me, which is after discarding a card from the market, I may take any attribute action. So, really love that.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Great to be enlightened.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go ahead and talk mine through. So I am a human sorcerer. I am actually a truth seeker. So I'm looking for the balance in the world. And I do that because I was wrongly accused. I was exonerated later on in life, but I was wrongly accused of just a gruesome murder. I lived on the streets, and so I think I was an easy target, but I am now ready to seek adventure, glory, and treasure, and knowledge, because again I am a truth seeker. So my special ability is after buying a trait card, I may take an intelligence attribute action.
Right, so which means you can reroll any one of your dice.
Reroll, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And street smarts.
So yeah, as I say, just slightly less effective than yours.
I did forget to mention that I am an eccentric dragonkin barbarian.
Of course.
Forgot.
That's a
Because why would I
combination of
not
characteristics I would not go together.
No.
Or at least you wouldn't want them to go together.
Right.
An eccentric barbarian that's bored with everyday life,
Right. Right. So instead of just smashing things, you want to learn about them first and then
I don't know, probably.
Okay, so we're going to determine who goes first, correct?
That seems like a good idea.
All right, so everyone grab a die and let's roll it. Well, I got a 1, so I'm
5.
really... All right,
Oh.
you and Anissa tied. Go ahead and roll again, Chris. And
Roll off.
gosh, someone's
1.
aggressively.
Dang!
A 6 and a 1, so Anissa
Right.
got that. So we had some extra gold to some people, right there?
Yeah. So the third player gets 1, and the fourth player gets 2.
And it goes clockwise, so it looks like you're the third player, and Chris, Digital Carnage, you're the fourth.
Yeah.
So get yourself 2 extra gold.
2 extra gold. Okay.
Okay, and we do need to place these dice first, correct? And we can place them in any order as long as they follow placement rules, right? Which is starting to the left, and you can't essentially build multiple dice on top of each other, correct?
Right. They just can't be on top of each other, obviously, and then you can't leave like holes. So you always have to build from the left. But you can build. You can put multiple dice in a row. And you're gonna have to. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Look at that.
Okay, so we'll take a minute and let folks kind of place. And again, it sounds like keeping track of the color of your class here, because that what dice you have give you a bonus kind of at the end, and making sure that it levels up with your background, correct? Like that's important stuff to keep in mind.
Yeah, I tend to tell people that the color is probably more important than the number at the beginning of the game, just because there's more opportunities to change the numbers than there is the color. But also, I mean, one thing to keep in mind is that whatever spaces you cover right now with your dice, you're not going to be able to take action as many times. So, like, if you put 3 dice in strength right now, you're unlikely to be able to take any strength actions in the game.
Gotcha.
Looks like our magnetic points aren't working.
Yeah, we're gonna have to finagle that a little bit. That's okay.
All right.
I keep trying to move my class card, producer Matt, and every time I do, it offsets it. So I have tried, while you were not paying attention to me, I tried it 1 trillion times because it also was bothering me. So thank you for your concern, and you can just get over it.
Well, now I tried to move mine to magnet either.
Everyone just mess with your stuff right now.
So the gold dice are these kind of are a little bit on the green side, I guess.
Yeah, the texture, it's like a textured yellow. Now, do we get the bonus gold from those at the beginning, or is that just as we draft them throughout the game?
No, you get bonus gold for them now. So if you
Okay.
finish a row, you get I didn't mention there's 4 basic ways to get gold. One is by taking an initiative card in the middle of the row that has a gold. If you put a gold die on your board, you get 2 gold for that. And then if you finish a row, you get 1 gold for that. And then during the market phase, if you don't buy a card, you can basically burn one and get 2 gold for that.
And this, whenever you put those on, if you hover over them and tap the number on your keyboard corresponding, it will write them the right way.
It refuses.
Oh, it's actually aligning it based on your view right now. So rotate your view.
Oh, my view is crooked.
Yeah.
Did not mean to do that.
That was a
That
5,
was a
by the way.
Thank you for the tooltip.
Yeah.
We all are learning all the time with TTS.
Yeah, it's got its weird little quirks, that's for sure.
Oh no, it means I can't just look any old way like I normally do.
Well, only when you're not placing your die.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's due to the size where I made the dice too big. Maybe they're not snapping properly.
I'm probably, but that's okay.
Oh. Oh, I don't plan on moving. I don't plan on moving anything more.
I already locked it.
Oh no. Okay, that was bad. I think I unlocked my board and it started rumbling all my dice.
Oh no.
Okay. I know I am set. It looks like everyone else might be set as well. Is everyone ready to go?
Yeah, don't forget to grab your extra gold if you have any gold dice.
Oh, yes.
So I'm grabbing 3.
How many? What do you get? You get 3 for gold die?
2 for a gold die and then 1 for finishing a row. So.
Oh, I finished a row because I don't like intelligence.
Yeah, I think.
I'm a sure bet kind of girl.
All right. I think we're pretty much ready to start.
But we don't take any of our actions this time around, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right. So, Anissa, you're first player. Why don't you go ahead and draft yourself 5 die and then roll them?
Alrighty.
And feel free, Matt, talk in my ear. What's the best place you want to roll those? Okay, so just kind of roll them out. All right, and so go ahead and
Oh,
do that. Oh gosh, just
no,
throwing them off the table. Okay, so it looks like we have. Go ahead and align those.
So this is a 6. So it's
Looks like you got a bunch of 5s, a 1, and a 6. So your opposite ends are easy ones. And now, if you've got a tie, it is the first player gets to select in whatever order they put those. Correct?
That's correct.
I think I don't have a preference yet, though. So. All right, that is the fantastic order we got going on here.
Okay. Well, Nissa, it sounds like you get to choose. So why don't you start us off here?
All right. I think you're supposed to be easier. We're gonna take this one.
Here, you want to unlock that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. And so I'm next. I'm going to take this purple 6.
So one thing that I've kind of moved people towards, and it's mentioned in the expansion rulebook, is that instead of pulling the card to yourself to indicate that you've taken that die, is to take the cube that's on your class card and just put it on the card.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a thing that I can do right.
And we do get to go ahead and take those actions now, correct?
Right.
Like as we draft them?
Yep, as you draft them, take the action. So I don't know if people want to just kind of talk through what they're...
Sure, we can do that first round. So, Anissa, what did you end up drafting? You drafted the 1 slot, which is a black 1 die, correct?
Yep, and I use strength to flip it so that I can get the 6.
Perfect.
And we take the coin, right? Sorry.
Yep, you take it.
Yes.
Yep.
So I went ahead and picked the 5 slot, and I got that purple 6, and I put it into intellect. So I actually get to re-roll a die of my choice. I'm going to take this 3, I think. And now I can take either the new value or the old value, correct?
Correct.
Well, since I rolled a 3, I don't know what I want to do with that. I think I'm going to keep that one. Okay.
So yeah, I took the red 5 and put it in strength to flip a blue 1 in intelligence to a 6.
Okay. And then Chris, what did you end up taking?
I took the 3, which is a red die, so that I can place it under my whatever this thing's called, so that it matches. And then it also allowed me to move in wisdom, move it to whatever this 3 is over here for. Figured it's probably going to be that way.
Okay, perfect. So now we're in the market phase, correct?
Yep. And purple's buying first.
All right, so Nissa, you've got these 5 cards here, and you can purchase those. And the other option, the other choice, you said there's a way to gain gold, and that's by discarding an item and getting 2 gold, correct?
Correct.
So essentially, you're nulling a purchase to get two gold pieces.
And her special ability indicates she gets to take an attribute action when she does that.
Okay.
Okay. I think I might just discard. So, don't particularly like anything here that I want. I'm going to discard this spear because it seems useful. And then, how much money do I get for discarding again?
2.
2. Okay, and then I'll do my special ability.
Okay.
All right,
so
and
it looks like white is next, which that's you, Keith, right?
That is me. Yeah, I'm going to take this helm.
Of course you would.
Yes. I'll take that. Oh, you wanted to look at it? Sorry. Go ahead. And then I'm paying 3 for that.
Okay. Digital Carnage, you are next.
Considering that Mystic Cloak isn't going to help my it's just going to hinder my amazing strength and disdain for all things that cause me to be bored. I find that cloak boring. I think I'm probably going to take climb for 2.
And I mean, you understand the cloak still would give you a point, right? It's not like
It still would give me a point, but it doesn't help me as much as that chain helm would have.
exactly.
And so I'm going to take something that might do something a little bit nicer for me.
Okay.
And this is a trait, so it goes underneath, right?
That's a skill, so it's going to be on the right. Or left, sorry.
Okay, and then I'm the last choice, so I'm going to pick this robe. I was really excited you didn't take that. And I think I'm excited you didn't take that.
Thank you.
It is 4 gold pieces, so I'm going to throw those in here. Okay.
Great, that's the end of the round. So,
So we discard the market card remaining, correct? And then we need to put gold back on these middle initiative cards, correct?
Yep.
It does 4, since it wasn't chosen, get a second piece of gold, or no?
No, it always stays at 1.
Oh, okay.
And then new cards come out.
And it's always the 1 over the number of players?
That's correct.
Okay.
You guys can sort those. And then the next player goes.
Okay. So that's me, sounds like. Hope I stole gold. Someone put gold in the bag. Someone put more gold in the bag.
I could have sworn I saw you do it.
I maybe I did. Oh yeah, I think I did. That was exactly 4 gold pieces. You all know that I love playing in Tabletop Simulator, so it's fine. All right. Okay, I'm gonna roll these here. Oh, I should let them go.
That's a Chris Walters
I'm not
type
cheating in this game, you all. Fine. All right. Looks like we have a 1. It's conveniently gonna go here. Chris can fix those for me. There's a 5. It's gonna go here. 2 3s and a 4.
Just set it down and I'll take care of whatever.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to decide what I want.
Well, right, yeah, I know. I was gonna say just set it on the pile and I'll take care of the positioning.
Okay.
Is that your final answer?
I believe that it is. Okay. And so I get to pick first still as well, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm gonna pick I think I'm going to take this red 2.
3.
Or 3, yes, in the second initiative spot. Take that gold, and I'm going to put that down in my wisdom, which will allow me to move my alignment marker to there.
Cool.
All right, that's me.
I'm taking this white 4 because it's going to get me a point, and I like points.
I'm going to take this green 3.
And where are you placing it at?
Constitution. So that'll get me a gold, and I'll take the Constitution action. I don't know what I'm doing with it just yet, but I'll figure it out.
Okay. And the Constitution action is add 1 or subtract 1 to the die, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yes, it's any die.
All the dice actions are for any die.
And so I'm going to take that 3 and I'm putting it under int. and which is going to allow me to re-roll a die, and I'm going to re-roll my gold die. It's currently at 2.
I'm actually decreasing my
And
3
it's
to.
staying at 2, so I don't know if I want to take the new 2 or the old 2.
That's a tough call.
Yeah.
Definitely old 2.
Yeah.
So
it's got more what do you call it? Experience.
so I actually lowered one of my dice down 1 with the Constitution action with the intention of flipping it on a future turn.
Okay.
Plans.
Yeah, I was wondering when that down bump would be helpful, like a helpful choice. All right, Anissa, it sounds like it's your turn.
Yes, it is. I was just reflecting.
Oh, you're okay.
Alrighty then. Oh, I didn't. But we're gonna go with. I have to go with this.
I've decided that my murder was of a lord of the area who was using young troubled youth as essentially fighters in an underground fight ring. And his murder, which was actually done by another like gang boss kind of style lord, just trying to get an advantage in the fights. Definitely try to pin that on me, because I actually was on quite a win streak, and he didn't want me to keep losing him money.
So he was rigging underground child fight rings.
Yes.
Okay. It's pretty messed up, but
that's
okay.
what he was doing. All right, Anissa, did you...
The plot has thickened. Yeah. Yes, I just bumped it up 1 with my Constitution.
And then you get a goal for finishing the road, right?
Yes. That is a thing that happens.
And
Totally intentional.
Secretly, Anissa was the one being planted in the underground fight ring, posing as a child because she's a dwarf.
And I do have that guardian nature. Probably wanted
Right?
to protect all of the children fighters. I mean, it
By
just makes sense.
brutally killing a few of them.
Hey, you got to make some sacrifices to save the many. I'm a savage for a reason, okay?
Savage for days. I actually forgot to grab my gold for completing my road too. That's something to remember. So that. Okay, so I'm first in purchase order, and I'm going to pick this weak trait. So now there's an arrow up by the purchase, which means I have to go ahead and move that, correct?
If possible, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's not possible. I don't think.
I'm not sure what that means by the move. I apologize, I missed that part.
No, it is possible. Right?
Oh, it is. Sorry, I was looking at it from direction. So, and I can use that right away as well. Well, mine's a traded. It's at the bottom here, but
yeah,
if it was like a skill, I could use that right away. Correct?
Yeah, most of them, and some of them have like a specific condition, like this intimidate card says before or after selecting an initiative card. So, like, you can't use that right after you buy it, but a lot of the other ones you can.
Okay. And I do get to, after buying a trait card, which I just did, I may take the intelligence attribute action. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But folks can go ahead and play their turn.
So let me
put that.
Yeah, res buying.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I want that. I need to protect myself against these children fight ring people. So that's not going in the chest. So it's just going to stay right there, and I'm going to buy this jeweled dagger.
Sure. Great. Well, I'm somewhat of a sly paladin, so I think pickpocket is my jam. For
A sly
2.
paladin.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a
So
scoundrel, right? I feel like scoundrels would pickpocket.
I think that's true. So then I'm gonna go ahead and use it right away, which is gonna lower my. I'm gonna become a little bit more evil as a scoundrel. I gotta lock. Oh man.
All right,
Anyway.
we're having a little bit of sound issues on here.
So I used my pickpocket, which lowered my alignment down towards evil, and then I can decrease the value of one of these dice, and then I get 2 gold for that.
Okay, and so it looks like it's Anissa's turn, correct?
Yes, it is. Let's see. I'm still pretty torn on this. I think I am gonna discard Goodbye Leather Gloves, and I will get 1 or 2 money.
2.
2.
2. 2 would be sure. Cool. And I'm gonna just use a little bit of dexterity to do a little swap. Actually, dexterity isn't.
Great. So my paladin ability says that if at the beginning of the next round I'm on my 3, then I get a gold. So I'm gonna take that, and then I have to refresh the skill I used.
Okay. So let's go ahead and draw out a few cards here.
Yeah. That card didn't cooperate.
And what is an initiative card? Oh, that's the thing in the middle. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. And so this skill allows me to basically take all the dice out, reshuffle them, or re-roll them, and put them back. Oh no, they're opposite sides, and then reorder them. Okay.
There is a card that does what you just said, called Intimidate, which is actually in the discard pile. But Climb, you flip them all to the opposite side, so you can do that before or after you pick your dice. So,
Oh.
so you kind of use it before if you want to make sure you're kind of getting the value you want. You do it kind of afterwards, usually to kind of mess over other people. And it's my turn, I guess.
It sure is.
How do you pull out multiple dice?
Hold and click. Hold your right click and then click left a few times. Or maybe it's the other way. Or hold your left and click right.
Left and then right.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it. Oh, sorry. Groovy. What is this? Okay. That's my 6. The 3 is going to go on the 1 card. 4 on the 2. And then I get to make a decision here. All right. We'll put this guy here and this guy here. And then I'm going to take this purple 5 and put it in Charisma, which will get me this Charisma token. Dun, dun, dun.
Now, so that'll get you that charisma token there, but if I flip it, then that 5 will change, right?
So if you flip the dice now, then you reorder them. So like if you flip the dice before you draw, then the 3 becomes a 4, etc. And then you just kind of reorder them from lowest to highest, ignoring the spaces that have already been pulled from.
Oh, so it doesn't affect your die that you just brought down, right?
Right.
Okay.
Is it like a general philosophy that like once something is in your area, nobody can mess with it.
Gotcha.
I tried it not that way many times, and people say they want that, but then they play it and they're like, no, I don't like people messing with my stuff.
I'm gonna use my climb, which and then I'm going to flip all these. So that's gonna become a. That was a. So that's gonna become a. You said that's a 4. 4 becomes a 3, right?
Yeah.
5 becomes a 2.
Correct.
Yep.
And a 6 becomes a 1.
Right.
All right, and then so that would actually, 2 and 1. Dang it. All right, I was hoping that this would end up somewhere where I wanted it, but okay. That
And then
take that anyway.
And keep in mind, because you use climb, your alignment marker goes up 1 space.
Oh, is that what that means? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the thing about those skill cards is that if you can't move the marker, you can't activate the card.
Okay, so if I want it next turn, since I wouldn't be able to move it up, I couldn't use it, right?
That's correct. You could
Gotcha.
use, you could use wisdom or a trait or something to pull it down, so you could reactivate it. But your alignment actually kind of works as a secondary currency you have to manage to fuel the skills.
And then what is this? What is? I put it in this thing. What is that? What does the money symbol do?
You get this one,
Oh, okay.
and that basically counts as a goal this turn.
And it has to be used this turn, correct?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. Anissa, is your turn?
Yes, it is me. All right, we're going. I'm going to take this 3 and the money associated with it.
I am going to take this.
Yeah, we're going to take it first one. Oh, thank you.
And that is a dex, so I get to switch to.
So, where does this blue token go? Cool.
Right.
Oh, oops, sorry. Yes.
I gotcha.
Okay. I need just a second to do some flippies, I think.
Hey, Blue, you forgot to take your coin.
I know. I'm doing a thing real quick.
I gave it to you.
Thank you. Okay. So I do get to purchase first.
Maybe this was asked and I didn't hear it before, but what was the hardest thing about making this game? You did ask that thing. Okay, what was the second hardest thing? No, no. You said that you came based off of an idea of you were playing another little quick 16-card RPG game.
Yeah.
But was there other inspiration for this other than that?
I mean, it's mainly just kind of my experience playing Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder. Also, one thing I like to tell people, that people who kind of maybe don't get the game at first, is that I always thought of like Magic the Gathering is to me, like Dominion is the metagame, is like the pre-game for Magic the Gathering in my mind. And so I wanted to create like what's the equivalent of like Dungeons and Dragons. So like Dominion is to Magic as role player is to D&D. And that helps some people kind of figure out that it's kind of a real meta kind of game.
Gotcha.
Right,
And it
right.
sounded like people wanted more, so you got an opportunity to put some monsters in to fight and all of.
Yeah, this is yours, I think.
Yes.
And then I am going to buy.
Someone got the quarterstaff.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I got it.
I'll take the crossbow for 4, paying 1 charisma and 3 gold.
Okay, I will not the next person to buy things. That would be innocent. I will wait.
Oh, sweet. I can get what I want.
You always gotta love that, right?
Better not be what I want.
I mean,
Remember, I'm
it
a
probably
barbarian.
won't be, to be honest. Just because two of these things like thematically synergize, but also synergize with my playstyle. So I'm gonna get one of them. I sort of choose which one is better. I really want to like be all risky and go for honest, but I think I'm gonna go with the Blessed Mace.
Of course you
I was
would.
thinking the same thing. Is do I go risky with? I mean, honest looks like it could be something that gets you a lot of points, but 4 dice in a row, that seems like, or in a column, that seems like a tall order.
Intense, but this is going to benefit me whenever I discard, which I already benefit from. So, gotta love that synergy.
See, and that's what I wanted.
Oh well, oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Didn't I tell you not to do that?
I gave it my best shot. The old college try.
So did you use that charisma token to buy that?
Oh, you are the right that I have this, and it goes away.
So you should get a gold back then.
Yes, I should. Thank you.
There you
go. Carnage, you're being heckled by our producer already.
Yeah, I know. I needed to go for the points here. That's why I had to move it. But I also wanted to be a more valuable token too, so at least by 1. Let's see. Well, since I'm gonna lose this initiative token if I don't, or the charisma token if I don't use it, I'm gonna take that there, put that back, and then I'm gonna pay
2. There you go.
All right.
All right. Chris is about to roll his die. We've got a new market here to look at.
All right. So 2. Two. Oops, that's a 4, and I want it to go here. Actually, I want to do it this way. Okay. So
Cool.
I get to take first then?
Yep.
Okay, I want that 4.
So you get that gold piece and then 2 extra.
Yep. I get my gold for my class ability at the beginning of the round.
Oh, sweet. All right. I am then the next.
So with that jeweled dagger, that's going to count as a 5, right? At the end of the game?
Yes. That is correct.
So if it was a 6, it would count as a 7. Just as FYI.
Oh.
And we're gonna put this 3. Oh, thank you.
Okay. And then you get a flip, right?
Yeah. What I'm flipping it though.
Okay, so I completed that, so I take another gold, right?
Correct.
And then I do my swap
Yes.
if I want to, right? Or do I have to?
No, they're optional.
Sorry, I'm doing some math here, which is hard for my tiny brain.
There's a little calculator you can use there.
Yeah.
Well, if you want an actual calculator, I can give you an actual calculator.
Don't you bring me a calculator. Yeah, I'm thinking real hard, and smoke is coming out of the ears, and all the things. I'm gonna take this. Put it.
All right. I put mine in charisma, finish the row, taking my charisma token and my gold.
All right, I put it in my constitution, which means I get to change a die. Change that.
We good?
I didn't yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. 1. Here's 7. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice pickup there for you, Keith.
Yeah, I may have been planning for that. So there's a couple cards. I mean, there's a lot of cards that you can kind of elect into strategies. So like that vertical one that you guys were looking at before. Like, once you kind of know the cards in the deck, you can kind of plan for that. So I don't know. Oh, I'm just fighting with the controls. It's fine.
I love that reckless. Gain 2 for each of your attribute scores that is 5 or less. Meaning you really shouldn't be doing anything if you're 5 or less.
Basically bad at everything.
Yeah.
And like mechanically, I like that one because like you can totally disregard your entire class sheet, right? Can get just
right.
and get just as many points. So you can get 12 cards from Reckless, or you can get 12 points from your class card.
Well, if your class card has you at 2 stats that are only 1 star, they're already 2 stars.
Right. Yeah. You can do some.
I completely missed that dang thing. Oh.
And
I
the
wasn't
thing that
paying attention. Sorry.
when you're doing Reckless or whatever, then that means you're gonna try to get the lowest value die every turn if possible, which means you're gonna be picking sooner than everybody else too. So definitely kind of going for a like super lame low value character is a legit strategy.
I'm going to be cunning to go with my savagery and my guardianship.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Chris.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, I think. Now I can still buy that card if I can't move it, right?
Yeah, you can always buy any card.
I'm thinking that the only chance I'm gonna have to win some things here is I'm gonna be able to buy that reckless card.
I was saying, are you playing the weak character role now?
No, I mean, think about it. I'm not, my guy's not very smart, so
That's why he's being reckless.
yeah.
All right. Well, it doesn't really matter what I trash at this point. So I'm gonna trash cure wounds because no one likes a healer, right?
They're pretty much useless. I think.
They don't do anything.
And somehow my blessed mace profits me. Yay.
Yep. Yeah, you're amazed to get a bug.
That's kind of why I wanted it.
You are correct. A raven. Oh. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Oh, my screen's tiny.
Our producer is making jokes about us liking all play and touch the dice while Anissa is clearly capable of doing it.
Alrighty then. We're going for broke with this 2 and this gold. And oh yeah, and this dexterity. That's what we're gonna. Oh yes. I swear I can learn new things. I swear I can. We're swapping our top row and our bottom row. Okay. Coolio.
Okay.
Then you get 2 golds for the gold. There's a gold die, right?
Yes, I was just about to ask that. Could never if it was 1 or 2. And I didn't want to.
Next initiative.
Yeah, I know. My brain's thinking again. Don't you hear the engine grinding and all the I'm going to take this 4. And I've completed a row, so I get 3 gold because of the quarterstaff.
Yeah. I guess I'll take this 5.
I will take this 3, replace it on con there, and I can up or lower any die on my table, right?
You got it. Yep.
So that's going to a 3, which puts me up to the mark to score points there for strength. Oh, I thought that's what we were supposed to. I thought we were supposed to be calling everything out.
I
am.
I think it's cool. All right, purple's buying.
Yes, I am. So this attribute 1.
Loyal one?
Yeah, is that color or number?
Number. So you have to hit all your stars on your class card, and then if you have this one, you get an extra 4 points. which is a good one for a monk for sure.
I know, yeah. I'm really into that one. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Alrighty. Feel free to discard cards this turn, you guys. Just throw them into the trash.
You would want that, wouldn't you?
I mean, you can prevent other people from having cards. It's a fun time.
Okay, I am going to since
And
I
I
don't
can move over. So
Yep,
I'm going
yeah.
to move over.
since I don't intend on buying or like getting my intelligence or wisdom too high, I'm gonna buy foolish,
There you go.
which
The
as long
synergies,
as
bro.
those scores are less than 8, I get 2 points. Now, is that intended to be for both? Like, if either, like, do I get 2 points for each,
It
or
says
just?
or.
Yeah, it's not intended. You can only get 2 points from that card.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
I get that it said or, but I wanted to know just to make sure.
No, it's all good.
All right. I don't really love what was out there. Chris did take what I wanted.
The chain leggings are a point.
Well, you
Yes,
could
they are.
could take better initiative next time.
Seriously. This
To be honest, with you, didn't think you would both take the traits. That's what I was
Oh,
banking on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the chain buttons.
all right. I will take negotiate. For 3. Actually, for 2 because of my crossbow. Hello.
I think I give crossbow to give you a deal.
That's right. A little.
Well, you just gotta aim it at someone, right? All right. Who was that last time? Was that Chris or Anessa?
that was Anissa.
Yep.
All right. Please.
I get a gold for my special ability.
Purchase from the discard pile, even.
It's supposed to be a 4. I want. What do I want? That's the real question here.
Hmm.
I think that's what I want. That should be a 3. Perfect. Okay, and I'm actually gonna take that white 3. And I'm gonna complete a row, which gives me 3.
That's cool. I'm gonna take this red 6. For strength. Get a gold. Flip a thing.
I am going to take this gold. It's 2 for that, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a 4. I don't know why it flipped over to a 5.
Hmm. I'm giving you your money from your initiative card.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, we looks. Do we lose
Oh
Anissa here?
no, we did.
Anissa, can you still hear us?
I think it's just not timed her out yet.
We'll give it just a minute. Keith, are you? So you've just had the expansion not too long ago. Is there any projects that you've got thinking forward? You know, is there a third or a second expansion to this, or is there a new idea coming out the pipeline?
Yeah, so I've got a bunch of stuff coming. So the next Kickstarter that I'm running is a game called Dual Powers Revolution 1917, which is like a 2-player area control deduction game set in historical during the Russian Revolution, which is definitely, you know, at least thematic, much different than this. That's from another designer, but that goes live next Tuesday, actually, the 17th.
Oh, okay.
And I've got more role player stuff in the works. There's a game called Lockup, which is a worker placement game in the role player universe that's coming out on Kickstarter like late this year. And then I've got more kind of role player expansions and other stuff coming. So yeah, that'll be. I've published, I guess, 4 games at this point. The role player expansion, and then my first game was a game I designed called Bullfrogs, and then I published a game called Blend Off, which is a speed dice rolling game from another designer named Scott Eaton. And then I've kind of I don't know if you guys play single player board games much, but I've started to kind of develop a bit of a reputation for single player designs. So there's a game called Herbaceous that I designed the single player for, and a game called Sunset Over Water that I did the single player for. And then there's a new game coming out called Herbaceous Sprouts that I also did the single player for. So.
Our producer Matt is telling Keith how he just purchased a lot of them. So.
Yeah, Eduardo Baraf is the publisher. So I'm working on a game with him. Actually, I designed it, but he's publishing it called Skulk Hollow. It's if you've ever played Shadows of the Colossus, it's kind of like Shadows of the Colossus, the board game, where one person plays as this big, huge monster, and the other one plays as these kind of foxen heroes, and they kind of they move on one board, and when they get close enough to them, they can jump on the big monster and navigate to different areas and disable different abilities. We were at PAX South a couple months ago demoing it for people. A lot of love for the game, so it's cool.
That seems cool. Now, are you all using Beth Sobel for art?
For Skulk Hollow, no. Beth Sobel is doing the art for Herbaceous Sprouts, but the artist on Skulk Hollow is Dustin. I forget what his last name is. He's gonna kill me, but But Dustin's done a couple things for Pencil First in the past. I think he did a game called Heroes and Tricks for Ed in the past. Dustin used to work at Disney, so he's got a kind of the art style is kind of very Zootopia, if you've seen that movie.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, he's definitely a very talented dude. And that's kind of
now, who did the art for Role Player?
So the art for the entirety of the base game was by John Ariosa. So John is he's just a freelance artist, out of the U.S. He's most well known for working on Mice and Mystics.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, I was working on that game called Bullfrogs, and Arioso, I noticed his work on Mice and Mystics, and I just sent him an email and then got a quote, and we just started working on stuff right away. And within like 3 weeks, after multiple kind of back and forths, we had a final cover. So I was super comfortable working with John, and I like his stuff. So I was like, hey, let's do this fantasy game. So with the expansion, John did about half of the artwork, and I had another artist help out named Lucas Ribierto. He's from Brazil, and it's interesting. Lucas, I think Lucas was able to kind of match John's kind of art direction from the beginning pretty closely. So it's kind of interesting to kind of go through the cards and see if you can figure out which one was done by which artist. But definitely, there was a lot more art in the expansion, so I kind of needed some more help.
Yeah, for sure. Anissa, are you back with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. You grabbed your die, so we're back to purchasing now, and I'm going to go ahead and take my slot first, and I think I think I'm going to take focused here.
All right.
And that's going to move.
It's going to move to the left here, and because it's a trait, I get to use my ability, which is take the intelligence attribute action if I like.
Yeah, we can reroll.
I'd rather wear a tunic than whatever the other thing is.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The gorget.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the armor cards are all designed so that you can kind of at least thematically wear them all at the same time, right? There's only one set of boots that happens to be leather. There's only one tunic that happens to be chain. So then when I got to kind of the end of the chain pieces, I was like a little bit scraping the bottom of the barrel for ideas,
And there's only so many metal pieces, huh?
Right. So the gorget was kind of.
Well, I mean, you could have done like a chainmail belt, I don't know.
I mean, it's the finest looking gorget I've ever seen.
Right, it's a beautiful gorget. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, we're gonna. Oh wait, yeah, I'm next. I am next. Okay, we're discarding this. Goodbye.
It reminds me of the collar that they wore on Wild Wild West.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Action.
So you get a a third gold because you have the mace over there, right?
Only if you discarded. You bought, right?
No, someone discarded the gorget.
You did.
You get a gold.
You were right. I did. Cool. That would be my thing.
I love a good game where the winner does it without even knowing they're setting themselves up for that. We've had that happen several times. Crashers.
Right, we're gonna.
Where we go, oh, I won this? Darn.
Obsessed is out again. How many copies of that card are there?
We looked at that one during the example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no two cards in the game. I mean, like some of the armor cards are all functionally identical, except for some of them have different costs. But the artwork's different. But there's no like two copies of anything.
So is it your shuffle or your?
I guess so. Yeah. 3, 4, 5. All right. What do we got here?
A couple of 6s.
What do I need? Oh, okay. This is my jam right there. All right. So then I'll take that blue 6 and into dexterity. And then that was supposed to be 6. I'll swap it with this gold one. I get my gold for my special ability, and I get a gold for finishing the.
All right, Chris. All right, Chris. That's not nice. All right, that's what I wanted.
Dang it! I moved the card. I thought I locked it down. But I am going to lock it right there, and it can't move now.
Good deal.
But it's slightly hovering off the table now.
And that is good of a deal. I gotta make a decision.
Correct.
We
Oh,
do the
no.
round so everyone's full with the correct statement responding to. So.
Sorry.
All right. Anissa, you picked up your dice there.
Yes. No gold.
Wow, this is a big gold round for me because I get 1 for this, and then 3 for completing the row, and then another 2 for a gold die.
Yep.
So, the rule is that the gold doesn't matter at the end, right?
It's only a tie break, except there's one card that converts it into victory points in the second half of the deck called Greedy. It's a 4-to-1 ratio.
All right, since I buy first, I'm spending 3 gold and buying that.
Done.
And now I'm broke.
Alignment up.
I know it doesn't. Dragons can't have. I can't be a dragon without a horde. Doesn't make any sense.
Just can't. I just don't know. Get it. I'm gonna pick up Nimble and just take the straight victory. But it is a trait roll, which lets me re-roll.
I do like how that if you go for that obnoxious or whatever, which gives you like straight across, that you can't go for obsessed as well. I think is what it was, right?
You can go for obsessed.
What's the one that does columns?
I think honest was the honest was the one.
Yeah. So you can't be obnoxious and honest at the same time.
I mean, if you're obnoxious in your class color, sort of.
Yeah, you can kind of. You can get some of them to kind of overlap, but yeah.
Only so.
Yeah.
I don't really want any of these things, and I need extra attribute actions. So we're gonna just not move that at all. All right, and that's 2.
3.
3, because I have a card. So cool. And
Which one?
extra bump up.
I guess I'll buy this. So I pay 4 because of my crossbow. There's that
There's that greedy card.
Yep.
Oh wait, that has to go down here. 2, 3.
They're flipping numbers. Did you mean to do that?
I did not.
All right, Chris. What you grabbing first?
Grabbing this because that can go there. Give me that coin. That gives me a victory point. And I can re-roll something. Oh, you guys can continue.
All right, Anissa.
Alrighty. It's not great for me, but we're going to take this 6.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take this blue 4.
Because that puts it down below 5.
I will take this 2. Finishing the row. Oops.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah. And then I'm going to swap these 2.
Okay. Keith, it looks like it's your
All right.
Keith, you're definitely using that card as like you're working to its full. No, what trait is that?
Mhm.
It's obnoxious. Yeah, it's like I got 8 points coming out of obnoxious right now. Honorable, do I have it? Do I have the money? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I have it. So
You're going to buy honorable.
Dang
yeah,
it.
yeah, I'll buy this guy.
If that's what that was happening.
So this goes up, and I pay 6.
All right. Chris, why don't you grab your next one here?
I'm going to trash Greedy.
You know what, y'all?
For good reason.
I feel like you're just being a jerk now, and I'm not a fan of
Yep,
that.
pretty much. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to try to take you down with me. And no, I really didn't. But yeah, so it hurts both. It hurts both of you actually.
You're just trying to
and
kingmaker right now, and I'm not happy about it. Because you gave Anissa a gold with that action.
I did give her a gold, but it also prevents
There's
her
nothing.
scoring a bunch of points.
Da, 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 da. Wow, that really messed. I was gonna take that first slot thing. I was like, nah. The fact that both of them want to mess with me right now, that can't happen. Gosh. I mean, I will take, I think, the knowledge, even though it can't really use it right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to use that this game.
Probably not.
Okay. It's quite a bad situation I'm in.
Oh, actually, one of those go back because I have that charisma token.
Okay, we're gonna discard this. And so that's 3. And an action.
You got a nice stack of money over there.
You know, all this money and I can't buy dice.
Hey, he's just gonna wipe the floor with us.
I wouldn't have been that way if I would have had, Chris decided to actively
Nah,
mess with it.
you're not anywhere close to his points at all.
I actually, he's got
No.
8 from his card, but I also have 8 from a card set.
Okay, he's getting 3 from his strength because he's got 17 right on the button.
Right. I've got 8. I get 4 from my intelligence. I've got 8. Right. Just you worry about your game over there.
My game is to make you lose at this point.
I hear you. Okay, so who started that last round?
I did. So I think it's Carnage's turn.
No, I thought I
No,
did.
Carnage did the dice. So it's,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool deal.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, that's right on the button. It's Chris versus Chris right now. I don't even care if I lose at this point, as long as Chris doesn't
I
win.
literally can't talk to you anymore.
That's a 6. This is a 1.
If this Chris can't win, no Chris can win.
I just
Oh, wait.
hate you so much.
Alright, my camera angle might have been slightly tilted when I made this. Yeah. Shoot.
Hey, before you pick a die,
Yeah.
I'm gonna activate. I'm gonna use negotiate. Yeah. So that's gonna. I'm gonna take this gold, and so you just have to reorder them.
Okay.
Okay.
Not changing. Oh gosh. Okay. Cool. Alright, let's get wise.
I don't even care anymore.
I've learned my lesson. I'm not letting anyone else.
I wanted that 5. I wanted that 6. I don't know who took it, but I want it.
I hope you lose. I hope you very last. I hope you lose so bad.
Oops. Oops.
Oh, might as well go for this and take that and take that.
Okay, is that everyone's
I think we're good. Yeah.
comments here? Okay, so I'm gonna pick Steadfast here. And yeah, but I don't move, but it's a trait, so I can re-roll a die. All right, that's mine.
Great. What is Proud gonna do? I will definitely take. I don't think I have the money for this. I'm gonna burn Proud so nobody can have it.
Okay. I'm buying the tower shield. Because that counts as another piece to my armor set for incomplete
Yep.
armor. Actually,
Yep.
I get one of those coins back and I use my charisma token. Sorry.
All right. Well, I don't want any of these things. So even though I don't need money, I'm discarding it.
So yeah.
Is there a reason this one coin is sitting
Unknown.
Okay.
This is the last one.
Yeah, leave my dice alone, you jerk.
Yeah. So there's a couple games. I think there's 5 cards that are in the base game that isn't in the Tabletopia version. Purely because I've been too lazy to update it. So that's why we had to shuffle for the last round. Usually you don't have to shuffle for the last round.
Gotcha.
Right. That's the second coming of the Gorget.
Trying to think what color I'm missing here. 6, 7. Oh, I missed one. Okay, let me roll these. Okay, so this one.
Thanks.
This one.
Hmm.
So I'm going to pick this 3.
You got your extra gold for your quarterstaff?
I did. All right. Do we have everyone picking the things?
Hmm.
Oh, sorry. I have to choose a spot. Yeah, doesn't particularly matter. So.
All right, all right.
All right. Keith, what you grabbing?
Well, I can't pass up this fine gorget.
How many pieces are you on over there with your chain?
Just
3?
Just 2.
Oh, okay.
See, I could have had 4, but no.
Well.
Considering that Walters has a Mystic set over there, I'm going
he
to
literally
buy
is
this
just
Mystic
trying-
Robes.
Well, thank you for picking the card I didn't want.
Well, you don't have a piece of leather, do you?
No, but I didn't want that.
But you can't score extra points off of the robes now.
That's fine. I got the 2 points from this, and I get to re. See, this is what happens when you try to figure out what I need.
I just went for the most obvious way to attempt to screw you over. That's
All right.
there we go.
And it was 4 coins.
Okay.
I don't know how many times I've re-rolled this last slot of the Constitution and not gotten above a 3. I've literally re-rolled it at least, I would say, 5 times, and I still don't get above 3.
So sad. So oh wait.
Okay. So that's the end of the game.
Okay.
All right.
I was going to do my final attribute.
Oh yeah. Go
But,
ahead.
It's going to be most impact.
So do we want to go through the score counting individually, and just so we can kind of see it done? Let's start with Digital Carnage, because I'm pretty sure he lost.
So, because of my jeweled dagger, I get +1 to all of my gold die. So that puts me clearly into the scoring of strength, which gives me +2. Let's see, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, -2, so 10. I don't get anything there. 4, 8, 9. Don't get anything there. Don't get anything there. Don't get anything there or there. However, because of reckless, with anything less than 5, I get 2 points. So there's less 5 there.
Let's do the order of the scoring. So that was your attribute goal.
Oh,
Let's do
okay.
your class color dice. So how many red die do you have?
I have 2 red die, so I get 2.
Yep.
Okay. And
All
so
right.
where's your alignment card at?
It's on my 3.
Okay, so that's your 3. Now your backstory.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matching, so that is 3 points.
Now let's go to your armor cards.
So this counts as a set of 3, and I'm wearing red, or I'm red. So let's see, I get 3 sets. That's 4
Plus 1, 5.
Yep.
5, and then does
1
it give
point
me
for the
per
mystic.
piece per
No, it's-
like +1 for set 1? Okay, just +1, 5. So that's
And you
and
got
then
your 1
plus
for the mystic.
1 for the mystic.
Okay. Now go to your trait cards.
Trait cards, foolish or reckless gives me +2 for each of my attributes under 5. So that's just 1, I believe.
It's 5 or less.
5 or
yeah,
less.
it's
Sorry,
fine.
it works. Yeah. And then foolish, if either of my intelligence or wisdom is less than 8, I get +2. So there's 1, so +2. I'm at an even 20.
Okay. Let's just go clockwise then. Anissa, what are you at score?
I was thinking.
So your attribute goals, what do you have?
All right, I have strength, so that's 3. I do have dexterity, so that's 2. Constitution, I don't think I have. Yeah, this is 15, so that's out. I actually think everything below Constitution I don't have. So that's into that.
14, 15, 16, and then 14, 15.
Yeah, I don't have any of those.
Okay. So your next piece is your class color dice.
And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So that's just going to be a flat 3 points.
Purple, you only have 1.
Your purple.
Oh,
die.
sorry. I was looking at Savage. My bad. I jumped ahead. I have 1 point.
Okay. And then yes, what are you at your alignment card?
Oh, my alignment card. I have 3 points.
Okay. And now your backstory.
Now my backstory. I have 3 points because I have 5 of my 6 colors.
Okay. And then your armor cards.
I just ran around with nothing. So
Cloth is always there. Okay. And then your traits.
I didn't get any skill cards or complete any attribute goals. So I had 2 jobs and I filled
You
up with
completed
jobs.
an attribute goal, didn't you?
No, it's
No, I
all of the
completed
attributes.
all of them.
Oh.
It was kind of risky considering that I rolled like all 3s, but I tried. But yeah, that's it. That is the whole kit and caboodle.
Nice.
So my attribute goals, I missed the strength. I also believe, let's see, 10, 16. Nope, I got the dex, so that's 2. I missed the con, no matter how hard I tried. But I did get the intelligence, which is 4. And then I failed bottom 2 here. So that's 9 and 12. So next is class color
Totally
dice.
gonna
I got
laugh if
1,
you come
2,
under
3,
10, 20.
4, 5. What did you say, Chris?
I said I'm totally gonna laugh if you come under 20.
I don't think I'm going to.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't
Nice
think.
try.
I don't either, but still.
As much as you tried, I didn't have. Alignment is 3 points. And then my backstory card, I got all 6 of them, so I've got 6 points. And then armor cards, I've got
3.
1 Mystic Cloak, which is a bonus, and then the chain, so yes, it's 3. And then it looks like we're at trait cards. So we'll do the Nimble, which is just a straight victory point. The Weak, if my strength or constitution is under 8, which my strength is, so I get 2 points there. Focused, for each attribute row with 3 dice of the same value, I get 2, and I have 1, 2, 3 of those rows.
Yeah.
So I get 6 points.
Yeah.
I just want to point this one out. My producer said 20 was a distance memory, which is exactly the kind of smack talking Chris was trying to do, and he has failed. So 2 because of the weapon for steadfast, and then compassionate. I gain 2 if your character sheet has all 7 possible colors, and it does. So I'm at 36, which I still think I'm going to get beat, but.
Do you want me to do my own?
Yes, Keith.
Okay.
Let's see how much you beat me.
So I during the game I unlocked the player mats for a second, and it maybe appeared buried under the table. So but basically you have to trust me that the orc has a +2 on strength. So that's going to give me 3 on that. I'm going to miss this one. This is 15 on constitution, a miss. This is 12, 13, 14, 15 minus 2 is 13. That's a miss. 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a miss. And then 15 on charisma. I got huzzah. Class color dice. I've got 3. Alignment card. I've got 3. Backstory card. 1, 2. So I get 1 point for that. And then armor cards. So what I've got 2 chains, so that's going to give me a bonus. That'll be 3 plus 1 for the mystic. Or I guess that's a 4th one, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it should be
And then my trade cards. So I've got 1, 2, 3 for honorable. Obsessed, I get 1 point. Obnoxious is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 points, up to 29.
Oh.
You are the winners, sir.
Oh, so Keith, one thing to know is that as much as we try, our guests who create their own games have a very miserable success rate at winning their own game. You are not I think there's only been 2 guests who have actually won on their week, and only one of those has actually created their game. So, yeah, we just have a bad luck for our guests. But
No, it's fine.
It's a sign of a good game when you're able to pick it up and win the first time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, it was fun.
Yeah, Keith, thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to ask you really quick, did you have anything you wanted to say, any plug, any last minute kind of thoughts you want to leave us with?
Yeah, so the next Kickstarter is next Tuesday, the 17th of April, Dual Powers Revolution 1917. You can check it out on my website, which is www.thunderworksgames.com. You can always hit me up. I'm super available online, either on Facebook or Twitter at Thunderworks Game, GAM. And yeah, man, thanks for having me on. It's a good time.
I was going to say, Keith, thank you so much for joining us. Again, you're anytime. So feel free to come let us know when you want to play a game. You're in our Discord chat. And that's a reminder. Again, if folks want to join our Discord, join up in on the games, you're more than welcome to. For myself, Chris, Anissa, Keith, and Matt back at the Mothership, we thank you all for joining us and have a great night.
I guess.